In 1878, approximately 100 families from towns in southwestern and central Utah received church calls to settle the remote and uncharted area of the territory east of the Colorado River. Those able to accept these assignments sold farms, purchased wagons and teams, and bid farewell to loved ones as they began a journey of unparalleled difficulty.
It is the voice of the Lord to me to go, and I go with the help of the Almighty. Jens Nilsen.
Departing from their various hometowns in October 1879, the San Juan pioneers followed established routes to the last community along their way, Escalante. Just prior to reaching Escalante, the pioneers encountered their first challenge, the snow-capped Escalante Mountains. From Escalante, they began blazing a road through desert terrain. Three weeks into their journey, the San Juan pioneers reached 40 Mile Spring. They were now just 20 miles from the Colorado River Gorge. In reaching 40 Mile Spring, they were halfway to their destination. However, the feasibility of continuing was in question. Scouts gave a grim report of the terrain ahead. Prior to their departure, a southern route had been explored which crossed the Colorado River at Lee's Ferry and cut through the Navajo Nation. Sites for the settlement had been located, and a northern route along the Old Spanish Trail had been explored. But both of these routes were unacceptable. The Navajo leaders, including Chief Bastine, welcomed the Mormons as neighbors and encouraged road building, but told them that they could not use their springs. The northern route was ruled out due to insufficient grazing for the company's 1,300 animals. Their chosen, more direct route had been explored up to a site on the Colorado River, where river currents and beaches were suitable to support a ferry operation. However, with their homes sold and winter approaching, the colonizers had to embark before this route could be fully explored. They expected some difficulty in crossing the Colorado River Gorge, but they did not anticipate such terribly broken terrain east of the river. The colonizers immediately pushed on over terrain that progressively worsened as they approached the river gorge. A crevice in the wall of the Colorado River Gorge they named the Hole in the Rock was the only feasible place to access the river. Six weeks under frigid winter conditions, the pioneers filled depressions, cut down high spots, widened, drilled, and blasted a path down the crevice. Turning the crevice into a wagon road required ingenuity, skill, and determination. Near the bottom of the crevice, they literally attached their road on the side of the cliff. On January 26, 1880, the road down the crevice was completed.
It is about a mile from the top down to the river, and it is almost straight down. The cliffs on each side are 500 feet high, and there is just enough room for a wagon to go down. It nearly scared me to death.
The first 40 feet down, the wagon stood so straight in the air it was no desirable place to ride, and the channel was so narrow the barrels had to be removed from the sides of the wagons in order to pass through.
Down they went like a flash.
They went down like they would smash everything. I will never forget that day.
The women and children took hold of hands and slid down the first 40 feet as they could not walk.
I could hardly keep my feet under me. It was so steep and slick. Mommy, how will we get back home?
The crossing of the 300-foot-wide Colorado River was made possible by a large raft constructed by Charles Hall and many others from the town of Escalante. With the road blasted to the top of Cottonwood Hill, the pioneers were out of the river gorge and about to encounter some of the most rugged and broken terrain in North America. Building a road over what lay ahead would take another 12 weeks. On April 6, 1880, 12 miles beyond San Juan Hill, exhausted pioneers, animals, and worn-out wagons entered a valley flanked on the south by the San Juan River. A few families moved farther upstream to other designated sites, including Montezuma Fort. But most remained and immediately went to work at establishing the farming community they named Bluff.
6 months in the midst of one of the severest winters. There was something more than human power or wisdom associated with it. Surely the hand of Providence had been over the traveling pilgrims. No serious accidents had befallen any of us. Human Jones.